today's video as your wake-up call so that you can start learning how to spend money and invest money with intention.
If you have the cash flow, then you're able to let your investment marinate or mature over a period of time.
When you have more and more money available to you, that's going to open up the world of opportunities for you to do more investing or for you to have that cash flow to live off of. So the name of the game is, what are you doing right now to create cash flow? Because let's be real, if you don't have intentional action, you're just donating money. If you are investing money or even spending money without clear intention, it is super important that you use today's video as your wake-up call so that you can start learning how to spend money and invest money with intention. Because let's be real, if you don't have intentional action, you're just donating money.
Right, because the people that get money is the people that have the better plan, and that includes your money. So what I'm saying is, if somebody has a better plan for your money, it's going to end up with them.
Yes.
Now, here's an idea for you to take with the foundation of this video, is the fact that there's three main players when it comes to basically money and where money always ends up going. Because money is a natural flow, it has to stay in movement. So it always goes back to its original source. Our financial system is made up of three major components or major players. That's the market, that's banks, and that's insurance. So naturally, money is going to continuously stay flowing in our financial system and always end up back at the same place. Now, it's up to you how much you're able to benefit from that before it ends up there.
And you know what's interesting is we actually were motivated to do this video today because we're literally sitting outside of a mall. Like Nordstrom's is like 10 steps away. And the thought is, as we continue to watch people come in and out of the store, are they intentionally spending money or are they frivolously spending money? And so we know from our personal perspective is that when we weren't spending with intention or even investing with intention, then we never had anything to show for ourselves. We would get to the end of the year, we'd get to December every single year and we go, man, we didn't save any money, but we have a whole lot of stuff, right? Or a whole lot of consumer debt. And so really it just gets to the point where we start recognizing, okay, if I'm going to go into the mall, what are the key things that I'm here to get? And that's it. What am I here for? What is the purpose? What is this actually going to serve me? And that's regardless if you're going to the mall or if you're spending at Amazon or if you're just going to the grocery store. How can we continue to be intentional? And then thinking about things on the flip side, when you're investing, are you investing with intention? I know I keep going back to it, but it's just your attention and your intention are going to be huge critical factors in your success with financial future or financial freedom, excuse me. And so the point of investing with intention is, what are you into? Have you studied that specific field? Do you know exactly what happens to your money, when it's up, down, round and round? Do you understand exit strategies? Do you understand, the purpose? Do you understand the returns? What is involved in you being able to invest money? Because just saying that you're investing isn't necessarily going to be the thing that gets you to financial freedom.
Right, because I think what you're alluding to is random investing.
Yeah.
Like without a clear plan, you end up doing random stuff, which means that you're a jack of all trade and a master of none.
Yeah, or just following like, oh, my neighbor said I'm in crypto, so let me get in this.
So let me get in crypto and have no clue of the in and outs of crypto. Or the volatility of it, or this stock in energy or this dividend stock is amazing because I saw a commercial, let me get into dividend stock.
Yeah.
When you have no idea the ins and outs of dividend stock or the ramifications of what your taxes will be from that type of investment. Because whether you invest in real estate, whether you invest in the market, whether you invest in stuff like crypto, there is going to be, Uncle Sam is going to ask for their funds. And generally speaking, for every dollar we earn, we have to pay 25% of that to Uncle Sam. And that's just on average.
Yeah.
Everybody's financial situation is different. It could be higher. But if we don't have a clear plan ahead of time as to how we're going to handle that, then we're only getting 75 cents on the dollar.
And truth be told, going back to exactly what you said, is if we don't have a clear plan, then the money is always going to end back up in the hands of the people who are investing with intention, who know what to do with the money. So your action right now, your homework, family, is what I want you to do is get in alignment with how you choose to make money and how you choose to spend money. What is your value? What are the things that you're into, and how can you align that with the things that you want to invest in? For example, Darius and I love to travel. So for us, we want to have properties all over the world so that there are places that we can rent out, there's places that we can go to and call home. You know, those are things that are important to us. So we aren't necessarily into crypto, which is why we aren't investing in crypto. But that's not to say that there's anything wrong with it. That's just not what we're into. We are passionate about traveling and being on a plane somewhere and doing stuff. And so we align our passions and the things that we love to do with investing.
So purpose-driven investing, where your attention and intention goes, naturally your actions will follow.
Yeah.
So that's just around the idea is the fact that everything is mental. Everything that you put in your mind, it has to be expressed or it comes out physically. Be it your thinking is abundant or your thinking is lacking. But when you align what you're investing in with your purpose, then what you're doing is you're taking that extra step to make sure that you're fulfilled with the things that you actually do, which is more than half the battle. Because with that, you'll put your heart into it, you'll put your attention into it, you'll think about how this makes you feel because it aligns with your values. That's how you were able to get the results that you're able to get, because you have something else behind it versus the fact that I can earn some money from it.
Yeah, and the goal at the end of the day is cash flow. So when we think about investing, what is your cash flow? Or have you locked your money up in an investment where maybe you aren't getting the cash flow for another 36 months, whatever it is? Like we have to understand the purpose, going back to purpose-driven investing. Do we need cash flow, or are we okay with our money being locked up in an investment for a certain period of time with the promise of cash flow in the future? And what we have been able to see, at least as far as financial future is concerned, the difference between individuals who are successful financially versus those who aren't is cash flow. Right? So cash flow meaning, do you have liquid capital that is available to you that is not tied to any expenses or assets or anything? Cash flow. So the idea is when you have more and more money available to you, that's going to open up the world of opportunities for you to do more investing or for you to have that cash flow to live off of. So the name of the game is, what are you doing right now to create cash flow? You're not creating cash flow if you're spending it, right? Unintentionally. You're not creating cash flow if you're investing frivolously and don't necessarily know what you're getting into because your cousin or your mom told you that you need to put money somewhere, right? You have to invest with intention and figure out where does your attention go, and then let your intention follow that with your investments. And then also, what is needed? It's okay to sit down and ask yourself what's wanted. Because I know for me, it's easy to get caught up in the shiny object syndrome. Everybody's doing this, or even keeping up with the Joneses and feeling like, oh my goodness, I got to do something somewhere. But the plan that you absolutely have to follow before you even get into investing, family, I know we haven't mentioned this, but before you even start investing, you have to have at least $2,000 in the bank cash to handle anything that comes up. And then after that, you have to have a minimum of 3 to 6 months of your income ready, available, just in case you get laid off, if your income goes awry. Those are the things that you have to check off the box first before you even consider investing. And what I usually consider that is like self-insurance. You are self-insuring yourself to make sure that, again, if anything happens, you can take care of it quickly. Or if you lose your job and your income is a little lumpy at times, you have a soft landing. Because if you don't have those things in place and you are investing, how are you going to continue to invest or make those sound investments if you don't have the cash on hand to continue to fund your investments?
Yeah, that's significant, because with our experience over the past 10 years with the different asset classes that we've worked with people have to sell their assets when they don't have cash flow.
Yes.
And I'm glad you brought that into the conversation, because it's cash flow first and then growth. It's in that order. You prioritize cash flow first, because if you have the cash flow, then you're able to let your investment marinate or mature over a period of time before you have to go and tap into it and actually kill the golden goose. Assets put money into your pocket, and if without cash flow, you may end up having to liquidate that asset in order to satisfy that cash flow issue. So cash flow is key.
Because as Darius is alluding to, at the end of the day, what we want to make sure that we can do is protect our income. So as we go into thinking about how people with money are successful, so exactly how Darius alluded, the point is we need to figure out how to protect the number one asset, which is our income, and being able to set up cash flow. That's going to be the game changer before you start investing. Now, how can you actually get started with the world of investing?
Now that we understand that cash flow is key, we have to take advantage of the free tools that we have at our disposal, which is a strategy and a plan. You can get a strategy and a plan or an idea from ChatGPT and you build off of that, because these are the free things that people don't take advantage of is strategic planning. Strategic planning is absolutely free.
And really the case is like with Wealth Nation specifically, like for us, we're all about the world of insurance. And we think about the world of insurance, it's all about protection, because 9 times out of 10, we have to have a good defense before we have a solid offense. So we have to make sure that nobody's going to come in our house, and we have the defense mechanisms in place so that we make sure when we are on offense, the house is protected, right? And I'm saying house generally, but you know what I'm saying. And the idea is when we think about investing, what are you into right now? What are you into right now? And how can you find some sort of investment that complements what you're into? And I guarantee, especially with the world of technology and the internet and everything these days, there is something that can satisfy exactly what you're into. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and you don't have to go outside of your comfort zone in order for you to get some sort of cash flow. And also be honest with yourself, right? If you're not into crypto, don't invest in crypto. If you're not into the stock market, don't invest in the stock market, because I guarantee those are going to be where you have oversights, and that's where you may lose money and you're not protecting the downside because you're not into it. So find the things that you're into and don't be swayed by what other people are doing. Just find what tickles your fancy and go forward full blown into it, because again, intention is important.
Right, because the idea isn't to go into something until you're educated. And when you're educated, you start to take calculated risks. And the idea is a long-term play. Everything that we do is long-term, because as we have different experiences, as markets go up and markets goes down, as the news cycles happen, people's feelings change. And when people's feelings changes, so does where they put their money. So ideally, you take the more strategic long-term play, so that regardless of what happens in the market, you can protect your upside and downside, because you are in this for the long term.
And what I realized that we never really came back and circled on was the point of your donating money, right? If you're not doing any of this without intention, then you're just donating money. And what we mean by that is you're just literally spending money. We have been conditioned to believe that we can just spend money and somehow it's all going to come back in some way, shape, or form. But the fact is if you're not paying attention, then it's just going to go to somebody else's pocket. And the idea is we're all sitting here complaining about, oh my gosh, I wish I had more money, or following the people on Instagram, because you're not intentionally spending your money. So stop donating unintentionally and keep more of your money so that you can create cash flow.
Well, the thing to consider is the fact that that's our default when it comes to our culture in America, is to consume. And consumption is basically giving away money for a short-term feeling or dopamine. And we can't
short-term gratification.
Short-term gratification. We can't take that same idea or culture to us with investing, because it doesn't align. It doesn't align. We have to really consider what we're putting into our minds and how we're processing that information into the actions that we're actually taking.
Yes. So if you want a solid foundation, if you want to create cash flow, if you want to protect the house and have good defense, then definitely click on the link below to join the Wealth Nation Financial Freedom webinar. We would love to continue to support you and educate you. But again, as we're sitting here outside of the mall, we're walking people going back and forth and going, I wonder if they spent intentionally today. So that's your challenge today. Did you spend with intention? Did you overspend unintentionally? You know, where is your money going? And are you donating more of your money than you actually want to?
Right. So we're going to go and window shop for some Father's Day gifts for me. But if you want more information like this one, check out our next video.
And remember to own your own lifestyle.
Or someone else will.
We've borrowed from our whole life insurance policy to pay off credit card debt, buy a car, invest in real estate, pay for vacations, and pay for our utility bills. Sound crazy? It's not. Every time you pay your premium, there is going to be an accumulation of cash, money that is going to grow inside that policy. How we like to look at it, just to simplify it, is every time you pay your premium,